Hello, I'm Donald Leggett, and welcome to the latest London South East CEO interview. I'm joined today by George Bennett, CEO at Rainbow Rare Earths, the London-listed producer of rare earth metals. Rainbow are developing a low-cost, high-return South African project to extract rare earths from old gypsum stacks in South Africa, and they have a pilot rare earth mine in Burundi. Today, Rainbow announced a deal to license technology which will recover all the rare earths more quickly and effectively from the gypsum stacks at Phalaborwa. Welcome, George. It's very good to see you again.
Thank you for having me, Donald, once again. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Let's start by asking for a quick operational update. Let's not talk about the new technology, but let's just look a little bit backwards. How have things been progressing at Phalaborwa, at the gypsum stacks in South Africa since we last spoke? What else has been going on?
Well, we completed our assay and drilling work. We put out our resource statement, which was obviously positive, confirming the high-grade nature of these stacks in comparison to ionic clay deposits, and the fact that our mineralization in the stacks is pretty homogeneous, and also confirmed very high levels of neodymium and praseodymium in our basket, running at plus minus 29%. And we also have very good credits in terbium and dysprosium, which are also key for the rare earth magnet market. So we've got a very good basket at Phalaborwa, and that has been confirmed with our last JORC report. And then we also kicked off our PEA, which is our preliminary economic assessment, a few weeks ago. And that's been running very well in terms of optimizing our process flow sheet and, as I say, and delivering a positive PEA later this quarter. Okay. Later the next quarter, sorry.
Later the next quarter of the PEA. Okay, Listen to that date, folks. Later in the next quarter. Today's announcement is about new separation technology for Phalaborwa. So in a nutshell, what can this technology do for you? And to what extent is it guaranteed to work? How do you know that this technology works?
Okay, well, we signed a deal with KTech International, who are a technology company based in Florida, the United States. And these guys have been working on this technology for a number of years in the space, in the rare earth space, as well as other areas. And the technology was first actually developed during the Manhattan Project in the 40s, which was when they were developing nuclear weapons in the Second World War. And ion exchange, batch system ion exchange, was used to separate uranium out of minerals that they were required for the atomic bomb. So this technology is not new per se, it's been around. But since then, it's obviously evolved, and it's now evolved to where it becomes what they call continuous ion exchange, which allows you to put greater volume of solution through onto resin. And then what they've also developed is continuous ion chromatography, which allows us to separate rare earths from the pregnant leach solution, which is loaded onto the resin, and then separate individual rare earths and target individual rare earths, which is very key. It's a much more cost-effective and much more efficient way of separating rare earth oxides. I might add that this has been tested at, as well as bench scale in laboratories, also been tested at pilot scale, so it's largely de-risked. And furthermore, it's been implemented in other industries, not specifically rare earth projects yet, but it's specifically in the rare earth space focused on phosphogypsum, which is what we have at Phalaborwa. So we believe the technology has been largely de-risked. And during our bankable feasibility stage, we will do pilot testing on the Phalaborwa product to make sure it's 100% de-risked before we go and build a plant to use this technology for the separation.
But if I could stop you there, George, has it been piloted in Florida or has it been piloted in Phalaborwa?
It's been piloted in Florida, and during the course of next year, we'll pilot it at Phalaborwa. We'll make improvements to the existing pilot plant at Phalaborwa, and we'll reconfigure that pilot plant to test this on rare earths. But I might add, as I said, it's been already commercially used in other areas in America. So it's, as I say, it's not a new technology that's untried. It just hasn't been used specifically in commercial production for rare earths yet, but it has been piloted for rare earths in Florida. So we believe it's largely de-risked, but we will confirm that 100%.
Fantastic, thank you. In terms of the economics of the project, as in the Phalaborwa project, how much speeding up of the separation of the rare earths, how much will that benefit you in both capital and operating revenue terms?
Well, originally we were going to go to a mixed rare earth carbonate at Phalaborwa, which was what the original Sasol pilot plant produced, and which gave us confidence that we knew the rare earths were extractable from the Phalaborwa gypsum. But with us researching various separation RP out there in the world right now, we realized that this continuous ion exchange and continuous chromatography was probably the most advanced RP in the world right now, and that's why we went down the road with K Technologies, and we've been working with them. And basically, once we realized what their technology was all about, we realized that why would we stop at just a mixed rare earth carbonate? We can keep the rare earths in solution and then go straight into separated rare earth oxides, which is far further downstream. And by keeping it in solution and going straight into separated rare earth oxides, we save capital and OPEX by doing this. Because before we would have produced a mixed rare earth carbonate and then shipped that off somewhere around the world to go further downstream. Now we can do it ourselves in one continuous step, which obviously means less CapEx, less OPEX. Very importantly, this continuous ion exchange and continuous ion chromatography RP allows you to produce separated rare earth oxides with far fewer steps. So basically, we will literally go down 9 steps and we'll be able to separate out 9 rare earth oxides out of the 17 that you typically have in your rare earth basket. But if we went down the traditional solvent extraction route, you would literally have hundreds of steps before you separated these rare earth oxides out. So we reduced from hundreds of steps down to literally nine steps to produce 9 rare earth oxides. And we can target the rare earth oxides we want. We don't have to separate all the rare earth oxides. We can just say we want to stop at maybe 4 rare earth oxides, which we will probably do, which will reduce the steps even further. So we're going to target neodymium, praseodymium, terbium, and dysprosium, which make up the majority of our rare earth basket, which is very significant as well.
Can we talk money though, George? I hear your enthusiasm. I hear you've clearly defined how the savings in the process. Money. Yeah. How much OPEX and how much CapEx will we save?
We don't have those numbers yet. Those will come out of our PEA, which will be out next quarter. And I can't give you those numbers yet. But just logically...
Substantial savings, George?
Substantial savings, yes. We believe there'll be substantial savings. Just comparing the process routes compared to a traditional solvent extraction route, there's going to be massive savings and massive OPEX savings as well. And more importantly, we already know on the revenue side, we'll see an increase in revenue of between 25 to 30%, because we'll now capture the full published metal price for rare earth oxides, separated rare earth oxides, as opposed to having a mixed rare earth carbonate, which would only get about 60 to 70% of the value. We now will capture close to 90 to 100% of the value of the published value of separated rare earth oxides.
Okay, let's turn to your PEA, your preliminary economic assessment. Over here, we call it a scoping study. This is a big document. You said it's coming the middle of next quarter. To what extent will
we were originally looking to publish at the end of October, but because of COVID restrictions in Sydney and Australia, they've delayed our test work in Australia. So unfortunately, we're using one of the best rare earth laboratories in the world called ANSTO in Australia. And ANSTO went on a 6-week shutdown because they had 3 COVID cases in Sydney. And be that as it may, and they've only just last week started getting back into their laboratories on a reduced staffing level. So this has caused a delay in our PEA, totally out of our hands. And I'm sure we're not the only project worldwide that's suffered delays due to what's happening with COVID in Australia. But ANSTO is...
So when do you expect your PEA to be delivered then?
We're looking end of November now. We're looking 4 to possibly 6-week delay.
Thank you. And to what extent will this new technology be featuring in the PEA? Are you just doing the cost-benefit analysis right now?
We're doing the cost-benefit analysis right now, and we anticipate this will form part of our PEA. So our PEA won't stop at a mixed rare earth carbonate. We're anticipating our PEA will go all the way through to the separated rare earth oxides now that we've secured this technology, and we are already going down that line before we secured the technology. And I might add that the license agreement is exclusive for the Southern African region. It's exclusive for 4 years, but that's only to make sure that within the next 4 years we apply to a project. But once we apply to the project, it's over the life of the project. So it'll be for the full 18 or 20 years life of the project. So we pay a one-off fee, and that is for the life of the project. So if you take it over the life of the project, it's looking at the revenues we anticipate at Phalaborwa, it'll work out at 0.2% per annum. Licensing fee that we pay, as opposed to paying a royalty fee, which we don't have at Phalaborwa, which will be somewhere in the region of, if this was a royalty, a typical mining project with a royalty fee would be paying 3 to 4% royalty, but we don't have that at Phalaborwa because it's a chemical processing project. It's not a mining project, and we escape having to pay any royalties. But when looking at it versus other projects, it's a very, very low cost to our project.
It's a serious amount of money we're talking, though. It's 5.5 million US licensing costs. Is that the right number?
Yeah, correct. But that will form part of our capex, and it'll be part of our debt funding when we put a funding package together for Rainbow. It'll be part of our capex. And as I said, when you amortize it over the life of the project, it's a very, very, very low cost.
I was going to say that it gets amortized over the life of the project. Very good.
I mean, the benefit and revenue is recovered within a couple of months. Put it that way.
You're going to end up with a really spectacular, low-cost, high-return project here, George.
We certainly believe so. Once the PEA gets launched, we believe that will confirm what you're saying, Donald.
I accept that was a leading question, George.
Yeah.
So the licensing agreement gives you exclusivity for Southern Africa, as you say. Can you see this becoming a significant alternative revenue stream for Rainbow?
I think I see it as giving us the opportunity to secure some other potential phosphogypsum opportunities in Southern Africa.
Have you come across any of these in Southern Africa, though, George? Last time we spoke, you said no. Have people come to you yet?
It's a leading question. I can't answer that.
All right, so that's a better answer than last time. You may have.
I can't answer that.
Okay. So I can't ask you what plans you have to exploit it, because you're denying that another opportunity exists at the moment. Oh, you're not going to answer this. Okay. So far, let's wrap this up. Final question: You have a co-partner in Bushveld. You have new technology with K-Tech. Is there anything else you need before the PEA gets published?
No, that's all we need. We just finalizing test work to optimize our process flow sheet to reduce our reagent consumption for the PEA, which is key. And we are anticipating a positive and successful outcome for the PEA. And as I said, we look forward to it being published in circa end of November, plus minus. Plus or minus.
Next steps after that, project funding. What are your thoughts on project funding?
Next steps after that will be the bankable feasibility study. And on completion of the bankable, we will then go into a funding package. We anticipate a large debt funding package for this project with maybe 25, maybe 30% equity.
Okay, so a bit of a debt equity mix.
Correct.
But it's your feasibility study you're looking towards next.
Correct. We anticipate that our scoping study will be of a high quality, which will enable us to skip the pre-fees stage and go straight to a bankable. So we'll save about 6 months on the project timeline by going from PEA straight to a bankable feasibility study. We've done this, my team and I are working on this project for Rainbow. I've done this before in my previous company, MDM Engineering, which I listed in London and sold to Amic Foster Wheeler. And we did this for a number of clients when we were in the mining engineering business.
So this is tried and tested once again.
Yeah.
George, thank you. You're a star. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us today. Folks, I'd look back at this interview twice if I were you. If you're a Rainbow investor, remember to check out the Rainbow chat board on the London South East website. Please do follow us on Twitter. That's at London South East. That's a Twitter account. And if you like this interview, then the way to find more of them is to Google London South East YouTube channel. And there you can subscribe for our news-driven video interviews, more interviews like this one. Thanks for watching. And as I say in South Africa, please go well.